It is time for Wild Wednesday, one of our favorite days of the week. We're joined, as always, Joey Livingston with Colorado Parks and Wildlife. Thanks for being with us, Joey.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, first question. Thanks to one of our viewers, so I'm so glad one of our viewers reached out. Different species of deer here in Colorado.
Yeah.
What are those species? What are the differences?
Yeah, so we have two species of deer here in Colorado. We have mule deer and white-tailed deer. So mule deer are what's most common here in the state. You know, they prefer kind of the rugged, mountainous habitats that we have a lot of here in Colorado. White-tailed deer are more of a, they like the river bottoms, riverlands, so they'll be down along the Arkansas and the South Platte. And the white-tailed deer population is growing here in the state. Most of the time when you see a deer here, it's going to be a mule deer. And the biggest way to tell the difference is the tail. So you hear, you know, white tail. So that's
there it is.
An
that's what you're going to
factor
see
there. So when white-tailed deer get spooked, they raise that tail up, and it looks kind of like a white flag, very distinctive. People can get confused because the mule deer have a white rump, but they have a black tip on that tail.
Oh,
they don't really raise their tail. It kind of stays down, and you'll see that black tip.
Oh my gosh, the difference is sometimes it's hard to tell. It can be really hard to tell.
Yeah, you know, you can't identify them with the ears and antlers.
See that little white, or the black tail,
that white flag.
the white flag, and then the little black tip.
So the mule deer have the more pointed ears versus the rounded ears, but they can also crossbreed as well. So it's possible to get hybrids. It's pretty rare, but
what do you call that?
It's, you know, especially for hunters, it can be a challenge because we have licenses for one or the other. But usually we lean towards that tail as the identifying characteristic.
That's really interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're speaking of deer, and you're looking at this photo behind us here. There was a rescue in Evergreen recently. People don't really think about this. That's a rat trap on that deer's nose. So some reminders of how to keep wildlife safe even.
Well, that's a mule deer. You can see the pointy ears and see the black tip on the tail there, since we were just talking about that. But yeah, this deer had a rat trap get stuck on its mouth. You know, most likely there was some sort of food in there, peanut butter, something like that, that was an attractant that the deer came up to get. But because this was on its mouth and was going to impair its ability to eat, we decided to take some action, tranquilize it, remove that so it doesn't starve out there.
What a horrible way when you think about that.
Would be totally awful, which is why that's a case where we do intervene. But we do believe this deer was also being fed. It had no fear of people, was just coming right up to people, which is part of the reason it felt comfortable coming close enough to a home to get into one of those rat traps. So, you know, don't feed wildlife. You bring them close to your home, things like that can happen.
That's why we do this segment, to educate. We also do it to shock you. So get ready for those of you at home. Behind us, we've talked about this on 11 News. There is a mega den. Yes, mega den of rattlesnakes in Colorado. We brought it up. We've showed off a live camera. This is live right now. You're looking at what they're sharing off. But Joey, there's so many questions surrounding this. Of course, the video, sometimes when we get a shot of this, I mean, it's just snakes crawling on top of snakes. What the heck is a mega den? You
know, when people think of reptiles, rightfully so, they think of a solitary animal that doesn't really group up with others or take care of their young. But these rattlesnakes are actually pretty unique in that they will den up together in the wintertime to conserve heat throughout the winter as they hibernate. And then also in the summertime, whenever they're giving birth, the mothers will pair up together, give birth together, and you can find a ton of rattlesnakes all together. Rattlesnakes are pretty rare. I think 20% of reptiles give live births instead of laying eggs, which is rattlesnakes do that here.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and they also will take care of their young for about 10 days, which is very rare.
That's really cool. Like,
all right, they're creepy crawly, but they're kind of cool. They're cool to learn about.
Yeah, I picture rattlesnake baby showers. I had no idea. That's the kind of stuff, that's why I love bringing Joey on here. Guys at home, if you've got questions for our wildlife expert, he knows what he's talking about, email us. Or if you want to do some research yourself, just hit up our website, kktv.com, click the Find a tab. Got a link to CPW's website there. As always, Joey, thanks for joining us.
No problem.